1-866-87-RANDY. That's 1-866-877-2634. Now, back to Randy Rhoads.
Most of all, I believe in this president. Now, I know there's some polls out there saying that this man has a 32% approval rating. But guys like us, we don't pay attention to the polls. We know that polls are just a collection of statistics that reflect what people are thinking in reality. And reality has a well-known liberal bias. So, Mr. President, please pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half full. 32% means the glass... It's important to set up your jokes properly, sir. Sir, pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half empty. Because 32% means it's 2/3 empty. There's still some liquid in that glass, is my point. But I wouldn't drink it. The last third is usually backwash. Okay. Look, folks, my point is that I don't believe this is a low point in this presidency. I believe it is just a lull before a comeback. I mean, it's like the movie Rocky, all right? The president in this case is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed is everything else in the world. It's the 10th round. He's bloodied. His corner man, Mick, who in this case I guess would be the vice president, he's yelling, "Cut me, Dick, cut me." And every time he falls, everyone says, "Stay down, Rock, stay down." But does he stay down? No. Like Rocky, he gets back up, and in the end, he actually loses in the first movie. Okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, it is the heartwarming story of a man who was repeatedly punched in the face. So don't pay attention to the approval ratings that say that 68% of Americans disapprove of the job this man is doing.
Oh, my God.
I ask you this. Does that not also logically mean that 68% approve of the job he's not doing? Think about it. I haven't.
I was so uncomfortable. It was the most uncomfortable thing, the most uncomfortable room you have ever been in your entire life. They really thought that Colbert was one of them. They really did, and that's why they booked him for this gig. But you know what's really amazing? When you look back at 2006, you realize that Bush had a 32% approval rating, and that 68% of us despised the job he was doing. And now when Obama has like a 49-50% approval rate, the right wing go, "Oh, he's got a 49% approval." Bush had a 32% approval rating. A 32% approval rating. Holy crap. And Colbert did not stop there, man. He went after Lala Bush. He went after the whole freaking room. The whole room.
And I just like the guy. He's a good Joe. Obviously loves his wife. Calls her his better half. And polls show America agrees. And she's a true lady and a wonderful woman. But I just have one beef, ma'am. I'm sorry, but this reading initiative. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of books. I don't trust them. They're all fact, no heart. I mean, they're elitists telling us what is or isn't true or what did or didn't happen. Who's Britannica to tell me the Panama Canal was built in 1914? If I want to say it was built in 1941, that's my right as an American. I'm with the president. Let history decide what did or did not happen. The greatest thing about this man is he's steady. You know where he stands. He believes the same thing Wednesday that he believed on Monday, no matter what happened Tuesday.
You can hear it in the room, can't you? It was like people were wigged out. All these conservatives, George W., Lala Bush, all of them. It got worse and worse. You should have seen George Bush's face. He was not pleased. He was not happy. He was, and you know who they had the next year after Colbert? Rich Little. Rich Little. Can you imagine, like, people fight for the tickets to this event? I mean, they really do. You ever see House Cards? And you see that Frank Underwood, Kevin Spacey's character? Oh, you know, my ex-husband got to hang out with Kevin Spacey last weekend? He sent me a picture, like to taunt me. See, if you still were married to me, you could have met Spacey. Yeah. It's almost worth it. I almost would have stayed married to if I could have met Kevin Spacey. But anyway, Frank Underwood's character, you know, there's this thing where in one of the episodes, and this isn't like a spoiler alert or anything, but there's in one of the episodes they're actually trading tickets to this dinner and putting them at good tables in exchange for votes. That's how big of a dinner this is. So can you imagine, you finally get to go to the dinner, because I always wanted to go to it, and then finally one time I got to go to it. But, you finally get the ticket, and it's the year Rich Little does it? Really? Disappointed.
As excited as I am to be here with the president, I am appalled to be surrounded by the liberal media that is destroying America. With the exception of Fox News. Fox News gives you both sides of every story, the president's side and the vice president's side. But the rest of you, what are you thinking? Reporting on NSA wiretapping or secret prisons in Eastern Europe? Those things are secret for a very important reason. They're super depressing. And if that's your goal, well, misery accomplished. Over the last 5 years, you people were so good. Over tax cuts, WMD intelligence, the effect of global warming, we Americans didn't want to know, and you had the courtesy not to try to find out. Those were good times, as far as we knew. But listen, let's review the rules. Here's how it works. The president makes decisions. He's the decider. The press secretary announces those decisions, and you people of the press type those decisions down.
Oh,
Make,
God.
announce, type. Just put them through a spell check and go home. Get to know your family again. Make love to your wife. Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction.
This is the Correspondents dinner. All right, this is the press meeting the politicians in a room with alcohol and Stephen Colbert. And this was a gem. This was a singular moment in the Bush presidency. It was a moment. I believe it has its own Wikipedia page. That's how special it was. They were so duped. They were so played. They just did not understand that he was mocking them until he came and mocked them to his face. I mean, the nads on this little guy from New York, it's insane how nervy he is. It's crazy good how he went into there to the lion's den and for the very first time said everything that 68% of the American people were thinking, but didn't say it like I have to sit here and say it in a room speaking to myself, okay? No, he said it to their face. And, oh, my God, you know, this is why you sit there and you go, God, I wish I was that talented. I really, really do. Because then I would get to say it to their face. And I don't. I get to say it to their ear, which is part of their face, but not the whole face. I would like to say it to the whole face. And that's what Colbert got to do. And now, holy crap.
You care what I think of Colbert getting Letterman's gig?
No. But I know you're going to tell me.
You really care what I think about that?
No.
Well, I'll give you the short version. CBS has just declared war on the heartland of America.
On the heartland.
There is no longer is comedy going to be a covert assault.
A covert assault.
On traditional American values, conservatives. Now it's just wide out in the open. What this higher means is a redefinition of what is funny and a redefinition of what is comedy, and they're blowing up the 11:30 format of the guys. The world's changing, And people don't want the kind of comedy that Carson gave us, or even Letterman. They don't want that anymore.
This is not people not wanting it.
It's media planting a flag here.
Planting a flag.
I think maybe it was the media's last stand, but it's a declaration. There's no unity in this hire. They've hired a partisan so-called comedian to run a comedy show.
Oh, yeah. I guess he's redefining comedy like Chris Rock redefined comedy. You know, Eddie Murphy redefined comedy. George Carlin, I guess, redefined comedy. Jon Stewart redefined comedy. Colbert redefined comedy. I guess they understand times are changing intellectually, but they really want to repeal the entire 20th and the little tiny bit of the 21st century that we're in. I mean, they just cannot handle the truth. They can't. And that's why they're not fun to listen to. That's why they're not funny. That's why Fox and Friends just lays there in the morning. That's why the girls have to be bleached blondes with oiled up legs. Because if you were watching for fun, or if you were watching for, heart, or if you were watching for facts. Oh, if you're watching for facts. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. You are so left behind. No wonder you want an Armageddon to come. You've already been left behind, and you're used to it. But that's why those shows aren't fun. That's why those shows aren't funny. They don't deal with the truth. They don't deal in reality. They deal in fictional worlds that they, alternate realities. Up is down, left is right, black is blue. I mean, it is an amazing thing. So here's what Colbert, did to O'Reilly.
O'Reilly knows the source of our decline. Why is our nation in decline? Tonight I can give you this. Equality is what is hurting President Obama. The left has seized that word equality to push its progressive agenda. We now have income equality, marriage equality, gender equality, and on and on and on.
Yes, income, marriage, gender, on and on and on. And yes, those last three don't mean anything, but they don't mean anything equally. And Bill laid out why fighting for equality is pointless.
The truth is there will never be equality in this world. It's impossible. An opium-laced dream.
Yes, I believe that's what Dr. King was talking about in his I Have an Opium-Laced Dream speech.
But Mr. Colbert is a deceiver.
Oh, you're such a wackadoodle, man. You are such a crazy son of a bitch, O'Reilly. There is something so inherently wrong with what you do, and you know what your problem is? You know it. You know it. You know that what you do is literally robbing this country of its ability to move ahead and join the rest of the world in the 21st century, when their agenda is nothing but repealing the Civil Rights Act, the 16th Amendment, the 17th Amendment, the Americans with Disabilities Act, Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, Obamacare, and a whole host of other things that put us into the progressive era and created the most vibrant middle class we ever saw, we ever knew, the thing that we will be telling our grandchildren and our children about, because they will ask us, when was America great, if these people have their way? And he knows it. And that's why they're so angry. They know what they're doing. Some of them don't. I think Sean Hannity's probably dumber than a rock. I think Glenn Beck is probably, 5 ticks away from sanity. Do you know? I mean, he's so far gone. I really don't think he has any relationship to the world that we live in. I really don't think he does. I think he's completely imbued with the spirit of he is the next national preacher or some such crap that I don't think he knows. But does O'Reilly know? Yeah. Does Brett Baer know? Yes. Does Shepard knows? He's told me he knows. He's told me he knows. He knows what he's doing is heinous and wrong, but he's getting paid. He doesn't care. And Rush Limbaugh certainly knows. He certainly knows what he's doing. But he's one of them. And by them, I mean the top 0.1%. It's not us and them. It's all of us and the top 0.1%. That's what it is. And because of all the money in politics, that 0.01%, the top 1/10 of 1%, they have all the voice, all the speech, all the property, all the power, all the money, all of it. And they want more. It's the death spiral of oligarchy. You know, the richest 1/10 of 1%, the richest 1% have almost doubled their share of the nation's wealth since the 60s. They own 40% of the wealth, and it's rising. The bottom 90% owns less than 30%. But what we're really talking about is the 0.1%, okay? The 1/10 of 1%. They owned about 10% of the nation's wealth in the 60s, and by 2012, they owned more than 20%. And what they want is more political power. They're going to buy the political power with all this money, and they will make themselves richer. And that's pretty much where we're at. 10 till.
Randi Rhodes.
Cutting through the bull. This is the Randi Rhodes Show.
Hey, this is Stephanie Miller. You're listening to the station that encourages you to think for yourself. What a concept. AM 540 KRXA.